Okay, welcome back, everyone. Today we are strapping on our encryption goggles, diving headfirst into the mathematical bedrock of internet security.
Right. We're talking algorithms, acronyms, key lengths, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and the historical failures, too. But this isn't just theory. This deep dive is really laser-focused on giving you the precise foundational knowledge you need to uh, master the cryptography section of the CompTIA Security Plus exam.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Our mission today is really to categorize and contextualize all this.
Yeah.
We need to clearly unpack that fundamental difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption.
So you know exactly which algorithms are the fast, modern ones, which are sort of legacy, and why they fit where they do.
Exactly. It's about knowing the why.
Okay, let's start with the basics then. Beginning with speed. Define symmetric encryption for us.
Right. So symmetric encryption is, well, it's the simpler, much faster method because it uses only one single key.
Yeah.
Just one, for both encrypting and decrypting. Think of it like a high-speed assembly line. It's fast, it's efficient, and really ideal for encrypting large amounts of information, what we call bulk data.
But hang on, if it's so fast, why do we even bother with anything else? Why the need for a two-key system at all?
That's the core insight right there, isn't it? If you want pure speed, symmetric is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But that immediately leaves you with a massive problem. How do you securely get that one secret key to the person who needs it?
Right, you can't just email it or send it over an open network.
Exactly. Not unencrypted anyway. And that specific puzzle, that's what asymmetric encryption was designed to solve.
Got it. So asymmetric encryption uses two keys, mathematically linked, a public one and a private one.
Correct.
It's significantly slower, I gather.
Well, much slower.
But that key separation is the magic, right? It enables secure key exchange and, crucially, digital signatures.
Precisely. It solves the key distribution problem that symmetric encryption creates.
Okay, makes sense. Let's unpack the symmetric standards first, then. Let's trace that historical path from, well, failure to modern success. We have to start with the old guard, DES.
The AES, the data encryption standard. Yeah, it was once the global standard, a symmetric block cipher encrypting data in 64-bit chunks.
There's always a but with these older ones.
There is. Its fatal flaw was baked in right from the start, a tiny 56-bit key size. Just 56 bits.
And that seems minuscule now. That tiny key size meant brute force attacks just became way too easy, way too quickly, didn't they?
It was really a foregone conclusion. DES is completely, utterly obsolete and banned in any secure system today.
Right.
And to put that weakness in perspective, the EFS deep crack machine, it proved it way back in 1998.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
They broke DES in under a day. Just churned through the key space. It was, well, finished.
Wow. So, okay, before engineers could develop a proper replacement, they needed something, a stopgap.
Exactly. And that stopgap solution was triple DES or 3DES.
Triple DES sounds straightforward.
It was pragmatic, maybe, but also really clunky. It literally just ran the DES operation 3 times. Usually that meant using 3 separate keys to get about 168 bits of security.
Okay, so it solved the key length problem temporarily.
It did for a time.
Yeah.
But you were doing 3 times the work, so it was painfully slow. And it still suffered from some underlying design vulnerabilities tied back to DES itself.
So not ideal.
Not at all. NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, they officially retired 3DES for any new systems back in 2023. So if you see it on the Security Plus exam, you need to know its status. Legacy deprecated. Definitely not for modern use.
Got it. Deprecated. So the 3DES fix was temporary, slow, clunky. What was the big global competition that finally crowned a true successor?
That successor was AES, the Advanced Encryption Standard. And AES is absolutely the king of symmetric encryption today.
Right, this is the big one.
It is. It replaced DES, beat out competitors like Twofish, and it's the modern default choice globally. It's also a symmetric block cipher, but crucially, it encrypts larger 128-bit blocks of data, not 64.
And AES is famous for both speed and security. How did it manage that combination? 3DES sacrificed speed for security.
It's all down to the new mechanism. See, unlike 3DES, which just sort of brute force complexity by running the old flawed DES 3 times,
Right.
AES achieves superior security and speed through an entirely new, much more rigorous mathematical transformation process. It involves multiple rounds of things like substitution, permutation, key mixing, basically thoroughly scrambling the data.
And the number of those transformation rounds, that depends on the key length used, doesn't it?
Correct. So AES 128, using a 128-bit key, uses 10 rounds. AES 256, with a 256-bit key, uses 14 rounds.
Okay, so 256 is more secure.
Theoretically, yes. AES 256 offers more theoretical security. And it's sometimes required for specific compliance standards or classified data that demand that maximum protection on paper.
Right.
But here's the key insight for you, especially thinking about practical application in the exam. AES 128 is already functionally future-proof against any known non-quantum attack. It's incredibly strong.
So for most uses,
For almost everything, yeah. In commercial applications, the speed gain you get with AES 128 makes it the vastly preferred choice. It's highly effective and plenty secure. AES 256 is often overkill, unless mandated.
good distinction. Okay, let's quickly hit a few other symmetric ciphers you might see, maybe in like historical context on the exam. Starting with RC4. That was a stream cipher, right?
That's right, RC4 was different. It was popular because it was a stream cipher encrypting 1 byte at a time in a continuous flow.
Which was useful for.
Things like older Wi-Fi security, like WEP, and early versions of SSLTLS. But it suffered from serious exploitable weaknesses in its key scheduling algorithm. Basically, attackers figured out how to predict parts of the key stream, which made it vulnerable. So yeah, RC4 is now entirely deprecated. Broken. Don't use it.
Okay, definitely deprecated. And what about that family of ciphers that competed against AES but didn't win, like Blowfish and Twofish?
Right. The runners-up, well, Blowfish is quite fast and allows for pretty large keys, up to 448 bits. But it has that small 64-bit block size, like DES. And that limits its usefulness for modern high-volume data encryption. It's just not efficient enough for large transfers.
So Twofish was the improvement.
Exactly. Twofish is its successor, designed specifically to fix that. It features the necessary 128-bit block size, keys up to 256 bits. It actually performed very well in the AES competition.
But it lost to Rhindale, which became AES.
It did. But Twofish is still considered very strong and quite efficient. You do occasionally see it used in specific applications, like certain disk encryption tools like Vercrypt sometimes offer it as an option. Still secure, just not the standard.
Okay, that covers the speed kings, the symmetric crowd, but now we face that key distribution dilemma again. We need to secure the exchange of those symmetric keys, like the AES key, and that requires asymmetric algorithms. So let's switch gears completely. Time to talk about the pioneer, RSA.
Ah, RSA, named after its inventors, Rivest, Shamir, and Adelman. It really remains the foundational element of what we call public key infrastructure, or PKI. Its invention fundamentally changed how we handle trust and security online. It was revolutionary.
And its two core roles. These are absolutely critical for listeners to understand for the exam, right?
Precisely. Encryption. You encrypt data, maybe the symmetric key like an AES key, using the recipient's public key.
The one they share freely.
Exactly. And only their corresponding private key, which they keep secret, can decrypt it. That's how you securely send something sensitive.
Got it. And role two.
Rule two, which is arguably even more common today, digital signatures. Here, you use your private key to sign some data.
Like a message or software.
Precisely. And that anyone with your public key can verify that signature. This proved two things: authenticity, that it really came from you, and integrity, that it hasn't been tampered with.
And that underpins so much, right? SSLTLS certificates, secure emails, software update.
Everything. Securely sending an AES session key relies on this. PKI is built on it.
Yeah.
It's fundamental.
So if it's so fundamental and secure, why isn't RSA used to encrypt all the bulk data? Like, why not encrypt a whole movie file with RSA? It feels like the ultimate security tool.
Yeah, it's a common question. Remember our analogy. Symmetric is the high-speed assembly line.
Right.
Asymmetric, like RSA, is more like a master craftsman meticulously creating unique, complicated keys. You don't want the master craftsman doing the bulk assembly line work.
Because
RSA is painfully slow compared to AES. Orders of magnitude slower. It's just computationally intensive.
Right.
So we reserve it for those short, critical operations, exchanging the fast symmetric key or verifying a digital signature, not for the heavy lifting.
Okay, that makes sense. And because it's based on the difficulty of factoring large numbers, the keys themselves have to be huge to remain secure, don't they?
Precisely. The modern standard key lengths for RSA are 2048 or even 40 and 96 bits.
Wow.
Yeah, 24-bit RSA keys. Those are considered obsolete now, too weak. And we also have to acknowledge that future threat. Exactly. The theoretical promise, or threat, depending on your perspective, of quantum computers. Specifically an algorithm called Shor's algorithm, which, if realized on a large enough quantum computer, could potentially break current RSA key lengths relatively easily by factoring those large numbers.
So RSA's strength is based on a math problem that quantum computers might be able to solve efficiently someday.
That's the concern, yeah. It's a big area of research right now, post-quantum cryptography.
Okay. Well, this fear of obsolescence due to key size and computational overhead brings us neatly to the younger, smarter sibling, maybe, elliptic curve cryptography, or ECC.
ECC, yes, that's a great way to put it. ECC is really the key to efficiency in modern asymmetric crypto. It achieves the same level of security as RSA,
But
but with dramatically smaller key sizes, like a 256-bit ECC key offers similar security to a 3072-bit RSA key.
that's a huge difference.
It is, and this makes ECC much faster and much lighter computationally, which is why it's absolutely crucial for mobile devices, IoT devices, anything where processing power and battery life are constrained.
So basically, using ECC instead of RSA means my phone can set up a secure connection to a website using way less battery power and time.
Absolutely. That's exactly why it's become the standard for modern web browsing for TLS connections.
So when you see EC at the start of some crypto acronym,
That tells you it's using this more efficient elliptic curve mechanism. So we see things like ECDHE for key exchange, elliptic curve, Diffie-Hellman ephemeral,
yeah,
and ECDSA for digital signatures, elliptic curve, digital signature algorithm, which is famously used by cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum for signing transactions securely and efficiently.
right, makes sense. Okay, so beyond these core ciphers themselves, AES, RSA, ECC, let's look at some crucial related protocols and properties built around them, things you'll definitely see pop up on the exam. We have to discuss Diffie-Hellman, right? DH.
Yes, Diffie-Hellman. It was actually one of the very first public key exchange methods developed, even slightly before RSA was published.
And its purpose?
Its purpose is elegant and very specific. It allows two parties who have never met and share no secrets to securely generate a shared secret key over a completely open, untrusted network, like the internet.
Without ever actually transmitting the key itself.
Exactly. They exchange some public values derived from their private keys, do some math, and magically arrive at the same secret key. It's quite clever.
And once they have that shared secret,
They immediately pivot and use it as the key for fast, symmetric encryption, like AES, for the rest of their conversation. DH is purely for establishing that initial shared secret.
okay. And this capability leads us directly to the idea of ephemeral keys and perfect forward secrecy. You mentioned ECDHE earlier.
Yes, exactly. Modern variants like DHE, Diffie-Hellman ephemeral, and ECDHE, the elliptic curve version, include that crucial E for ephemeral,
Meaning temporary.
meaning temporary throwaway keys used for just one session. They generate a brand new Diffie-Hellman key pair for each connection and discard it afterwards.
And this is the foundation of perfect forward secrecy, PFS.
Correct. PFS is a massive security property that you get from using these ephemeral key exchanges. It's considered best practice today.
So what does PFS actually mean for the security of, say, my past browsing sessions?
PFS means you're proactively securing your past communications. Let's say an attacker manages to steal a web server's long-term private key. Maybe its main RSA or ECC key 5 years from now.
Okay, a major breach.
Right. But if the server was using DHE or ECDHE for key exchange back then, the attacker still cannot decrypt any of the past traffic sessions they might have recorded.
Why not? They have the server's main private key.
Because that main private key wasn't used to encrypt the session data directly. A unique, temporary ephemeral key was generated just for that specific session, using Diffie-Hellman, used to encrypt the data and then immediately discarded. The long-term key was only used to sign the DH parameters, not derive the session key itself.
So the keys needed to decrypt past sessions just don't exist anymore.
Exactly. That's perfect forward secrecy. It protects past sessions even if long-term keys are compromised later. That's why it's so important and considered best practice for modern TLS configurations.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, moving on to signing algorithms specifically, we have DSA and ECBSA.
Right. The digital signature algorithm, or DSA. The name says it all. It's used for digital signatures only.
Not encryption.
No encryption capability at all. Its strict role is purely to verify the authenticity and integrity of messages or software. It proves who sent it and that it wasn't changed.
And just like with RSA and DH, when you add the elliptic curve magic.
You get ECDSA, the elliptic curve digital signature algorithm, which again is faster, more efficient, uses smaller keys, and is very widely used today, especially where performance matters.
Okay. And finally, we have the systems that kind of put all this together, perfectly illustrating why we need both symmetric and asymmetric PGP and GPG.
Yes, pretty good privacy,
Yeah.
GPG. And its open source cousin, GNU Privacy Guard, GPG. These are classic textbook examples of hybrid encryption systems.
Hybrid meaning they use both types.
Exactly. They brilliantly combine the strengths of both. They use the slow but secure asymmetric algorithms, maybe RSA or ECC, for the critical one-time task of securely exchanging a session key.
Usually an AES key, right?
Usually, yeah,
Yeah.
or some other strong symmetric key. So asymmetric crypto handles the key exchange. Then, once that key is securely shared,
They switch.
they immediately switch over to the fast, efficient symmetric algorithm like AES to actually encrypt and decrypt the bulk data, the contents of the email message, or the file being protected.
So asymmetric for the key, symmetric for the data.
It's the perfect synergy. You get the secure key distribution of asymmetric and the high-speed encryption of symmetric. That's how most real-world secure communication works,
Okay.
including TLS-SSL.
Fantastic. Okay, that brings us perfectly to our final summary categorization. This is like the cheat sheet moment for the exam, isn't it?
It really is. You absolutely must know these buckets cold for the Security Plus. Memorize these associations.
All right, lay it on us.
Right. DH, DHE, and ECDHE, Tridardellar. These are your key exchange methods. Their job is to establish a shared secret.
Got it. Key exchange.
PFS, perfect forward secrecy, right order dollar. It's a security property, a desirable feature provided by those ephemeral key exchanges.
Okay, a property, not an algorithm itself.
Correct. Then DSA and ECDSA, right RO, purely digital signature algorithms, verifying authenticity and integrity only.
Signatures only.
And finally, BGP and GPG right RO, these are hybrid encryption systems. They use both asymmetric and symmetric crypto together, typically for emails and files.
Key exchange, properties, signatures, hybrid systems.
Nail those categories.
Yeah.
Knowing what each one does, its current status, is it modern, legacy, best practice, and its category.
Yeah.
That's the key to conquering this cryptography section on the exam.
We've really covered the whole landscape today, haven't we? From the spectacular 56-bit failure of DES all the way to the sleek efficiency of modern ECC.
We have.
And that main mission, knowing the category, the status, the primary function of each algorithm, that really is exactly the focused understanding you need. Not necessarily the super deep math, but the role and relevance.
Precisely. And what's just fascinating here, stepping back, is the rapid pace of obsolescence we've seen. We saw DES with its 56-bit key basically collapse computationally in under a day back in '98.
Mm-hmm.
And while RSA's slowness is a problem today, its biggest future vulnerability isn't really about classical computers getting faster. It's that theoretical promise or threat of quantum computers.
First algorithm again.
Right, potentially breaking even those massive 2048 or 4096-bit keys we rely on now. And this raises a really important question, a provocative thought maybe for you to ponder.
Okay.
What foundational cryptographic shift will the next generation of security need? What new kind of math or approach will be needed to solve for that looming quantum threat? And maybe more urgently, will it be fully developed, standardized, and deployed before the theoretical quantum threat becomes a practical reality?
Wow. That's
Mhm.
fair. Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. What comes after RSA and ECC when quantum computers arrive? A race against time, potentially.
Potentially. It's the next frontier in cryptography.